So, as you know, I'm Debbie. I'm the founder of Icing Images, and we have my good friend Arty McGoo, or Liz, Liz Adams, as meant, depending on how you know her. We just recently went on that cruise. It was awesome,
Yeah.
and you get to see the other side of Liz. Very entertaining.
What happens in Greece stays in Greece.
Yes, and she is very competitive. Just saying.
Oh, you think so?
Uh-huh. Yeah, when we were playing those games and the trip, oh my gosh, you and John, it was like crazy. And then was it Becky that was sitting over there looking at your answers and telling me what they were? Think about. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. Or wait, no, was it Becky or was it I think it was Jenna doing that. It was funny because yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so Stacy's still giving us computer facts. So tell me, Liz, how you got the name Arty McGoo.
It was before cookies. It was the name of, I was looking for a name for my blog, and I thought it was funny. I use the term McGoo for a lot of things with my kids.
Uh-huh.
Get this dirty laundry out of here, stinky McGoo, pick up your socks. You know, I'd always add McGoo to things, and so it just made sense to name my blog Arty McGoo.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
yeah, and then cookies took over, and people started emailing me, Ms. McGoo, could you tell me how to do this? And I
Oh,
just
that's funny.
thought that was so funny that they called me Arty McGoo, and it stuck.
Oh, that's hilarious. So what was your blog about then, if it wasn't about cookies?
It was anything creative that I was doing. So any projects that I had, yeah,
Yeah,
photography or working with clay or whatever. Because I've always hobby hopped and enjoyed creating things.
yeah.
Yeah.
So can we still find that blog today?
Oh yeah. So it's the same blog now that it was then. I haven't erased any embarrassing things from it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to go back and look. That's gonna be funny. Going back in time on your computer is hilarious.
Yeah. It's like time traveling.
So you then created McGoo U,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there's a lot of people who know, yeah, what that is. Sylvia said you are competitive for sure, by the way. So she was saying. Um, so, so where did McGoo U come from? Like, tell us what it is for those of you who do not know.
So when I started cookies, it was just on accident, like most of us, decorating cookies for my daughter's birthday, which turned into, oh, can you make cookies for my kids? Which turned into, can you teach me how to decorate? Which I started traveling and teaching. The first time I taught was in Italy, taught
Wow.
in Spain, taught in, all these places in Australia. But that turned into, I can't get to Italy or California where you live or these other places. You need to do this online. And so started teaching online 10 years ago. So that was, 10 years ago, started McGoo U online. The first time we filmed, I thought, okay, this should last about 3 months. It was a lot figuring
Yeah.
out. But 10 years later, man, it's such a blast. It's been amazing, and all
You're
the
still doing
students.
it.
So it's 5 videos each month. It's a tutorial that's usually seasonal. It's a guest star. It's a chat with them. It's an extra frosting where I use the extra frosting from the lesson to show a quick design, and smart cookie. And
Yeah.
people follow along and do their homework, and they earn patches. The community is fantastic. Love, love, love.
Yeah. Okay, so a small story. You know about this, but you weren't in the room. So I roomed with Becky Norton, who is on here, Rebecca, and homework was due.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
you had just announced it, and like Becky, she's like the first to always have the homework done. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's on a cruise and she needs to do homework, which involves cookies. And Becky was not letting up. And so she swiped stuff from the dining hall, and there were these coasters that were at our dinner table that night, and she's like swiping them all. She used champagne bottle foil, this coaster for the bay. Oh yeah, she doesn't like me telling you this. Jenna brought her makeup down. She used that. It
That
was
was
funny.
smart.
And
Yeah.
I will tell you that never ever try to help Becky decorate. She's just going to redo it. So yeah. And so, just saying, it's I refused to, and Jenna fell into the trap of trying to help her, and I'm like, I ain't doing that. I know better. And I just sat back and laughed.
She
So yeah,
turns
she put it
so
up.
fast. And I always thought
Huh?
it was a joke. I always thought it was a joke that she's like, yeah, I have to get it in first. And I thought it was just like she just is quick on it and she does it. But it actually was stressing her out not to do
Not
the
to
whole.
do it.
I can't
Yeah,
imagine what a student she was at real school. You know,
she was the
I
teacher. She wasn't the student ever.
never.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so that was just funny trying to watch her put together a quote unquote cookie in a ship's your room in the
Yeah.
ship. It's just really funny. Anyway, so what are you making today? Let's get into the good stuff.
Yeah, let's do it. So I always think of when I get to hang out with you, it's playtime and I get to play with things that I usually don't and just kind of take time to experiment. So that's what I did.
Ooh, all right.
Several versions of things. I'm gonna flip my camera. This was scary earlier. So
Yeah, it was really funny. We got to look out in the backyard and we saw John running through the fields. No, he wasn't.
uh,
Oh my gosh. So I'm going to go off screen, and then you all, when you have questions, please feel free to ask, and I will rudely interrupt her and ask them and call your name. No, I'm just kidding. So awesome.
this is that working out?
Yeah, you're doing good. We see the upper one, the two different versions of the Icing Images mat side by side.
Yes.
Wow.
Limited edition and okay.
Awesome. You're really good at this.
This isn't my first rodeo. Oh, I was kidding.
Really? 10 years later.
Yeah, right.
Awesome.
Okay, I think that's pretty good. There we go. All right, so cute, Matt, isn't it? Look at that.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I love it. Okay, so I really like to use scraps because I just like to use things, right? Make do what's the saying? I don't know what it is, but anyway, it's about like using what you have, right? So I had this big piece of SmArt sheet here, and it's perfectly lovely. So I'm gonna just rip it up.
You know, you could have used those silhouettes. If you made cakes, you could put it around a cake and, just use the silhouettes. But,
Yeah, I've never done that yet. I this is using my Big Shot, which works really good too for that. So I'm gonna put all my scrap in a bowl, and
you're going to make do with Arty McGoo.
I like it. Make some SmArt Sheet goo. That's really what we're gonna do. So I'm just adding some water to it and getting it all soupy.
So that's a SmArt sheet.
SmArt Sheet, yeah.
Okay, and I'll tell you something. Here's a secret. So only people live get to know this.
I love it.
We're working on a lot of new things down at Icing Images headquarters for next year. SmArt Sheets are titanium dioxide free, which is going to be very important as years come along. And so right now we are actually testing a titanium free icing sheets. So for those of you who don't know, titanium dioxide makes things whiter.
Right.
But it also doesn't work well all the time, depending on your moisture levels and a bunch of other things. If you're printing on them and have too much moisture, you will see colors blend. So we are experimenting.
Interesting. You guys are always playing with things.
Oh yeah, we got quite a few things going on right now. It's kind of crazy out there. Everyone's going nuts because it's busy when it's nuts at the office.
So 2025 is going to be some exciting things.
Yeah.
always.
Yep, for sure.
And I feel like I could probably work better on the mat, actually.
So that's a SmArT sheet. I'll put up the link so you can see what it is. It's just another one of the many edible papers that we offer.
What it used to be, now it's a pulp. Really, it's a, it's a paper pulp. And just getting that all nice and creamy. I don't want it to get too wet because then I like it to be kind of thick, have some body to it for our palette painting that we're going to be doing. And I feel like I have one chunk right here. Break it up. And I bet if I tore it up just a little bit more, it wouldn't have been as thick there. It breaks down pretty quick though once you add that water to it. There we go. So it should look like, I'm trying to think about the consistency we're looking for. Just like a nice paste, really. You remember that paste you used to eat as a kindergartner?
Oh yeah, that was the best.
Slightly minty flavored.
And now you know what's wrong with me.
Do you
I can
paste as a
still
kid?
smell it.
Why did they make it smell good? I mean, that
Because
was
back then it was okay for kids to eat anything. Crayons.
I did use a magic marker as lipstick once as a
Oh
kid.
gosh.
I thought I'd look fancy if I put some marker on my lips.
Well, you did, I bet.
I did. I looked real fancy. But it didn't fool anyone. They all knew it was marker.
Yeah, but you liked the way it looked, and that's all that mattered.
Actually, I wasn't that I was super shy as a kid. It was my friend who did it, who talked me into it. Bad influence. Right.
So Becky said if you put that into a coffee
Blender.
grinder, then add water, it's very easy to make
That
that.
would make a nice powder. That would be so good. I have one of those. I love it. I got to do that. So now I have a palette knife. These are super inexpensive and easy to get. And this is and really easy to clean up all my little schmutz here. And I can color this let's color it. It's probably easier to see if I color too. So I have a little bit of red. You know how many different colors there are of poinsettias out there? They come in yellow and pink and green and peach and like purple. It's really fun. But the
And then mixture of
traditional,
colors too, the
yeah,
hybrids.
they're so cool. Different sizes. So I'm just gonna take some of my little paste there and mix in some red. And this is so satisfying just playing with it. If you haven't played with palette knives before, it's so fun because you can immediately change the color. It's so fast, you don't have to spend much time mixing,
I can see you doing that on like a SmArT sheet too, and making something like it looked like a tulip for a minute when you
Yeah.
were doing that.
So you can kind of keep it some white and some red. You can do all kinds of things as far as the coloring goes, but I like to spread it out in a thin layer. And then I'm just going to take some onto my knife. So just scoop a little bit there. And I like to just get it smooth. So I just kind of rub it on each side so that it's not any shaggy bits on the edges. And I set it like flat, like parallel to the mat. I push it a little bit up and then I just pull it towards myself. And that's a petal. It's pretty effortless. I mean, it takes a little bit of practice just to get the feel of it. But just getting that little roll of your little paste parallel to the mat, pushing it, and then pulling it towards yourself. So it makes these kind of little scooped little petal shapes. And if you want some more variation, you can get some red and then get some pink in there and mix it just a little bit, and that's fun too. So just kind of scrape it so it's a little bit clean on the sides. I'm cleaning off the edges, parallel to my mat, pushing it up a little bit, and then towards myself. And there
It
are
almost
different
made me,
palette knife sizes.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, there's just different palette knife sizes. You just want a really small one. Some that come to a point, which that would be really fun to play with too. Your petals would be a little pointier that way, and that would be nice too.
The movement reminds me of, and guys, I don't decorate that often, but I know enough, like I've come into weird situations where I actually learn this stuff. And it reminded me of certain techniques when you're icing or frosting something, and it's like you push and then you pull. I remember that, and then you lift up. I don't remember what I was making, but I just remembered that because I learned it and then I had to teach it, not teach, but help people
Oh yeah,
in the
demo.
class. That was Carvel ice cream way back when.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Are we focused on that? So there's some petals. I have some that are already dried, and then of course just mixing some green in there to make green leaves is the same process here. Where's more green? A little bit of green. So it doesn't take a lot of food coloring either. And you can see how many petals I could get out of that little scrap of SmArt Sheet.
That's a lot.
Yeah, you can get quite a few petals, and they dry very quickly. I do put it into my dehydrator to make it dry even faster. It takes like maybe 20 minutes and they'll be totally dry and ready to stack and build your flowers. So I'll grab some of my little green. And funnily enough, the red parts are actually leaves as well. The big red parts are leaves, as well as the green parts. The actual flower part, that is the little yellow centers. Those are the actual flowers. Get those guys. So red leaves, green leaves. And you just want, just keep making if you ever feel like, oh, I want to clean up this end, this part really isn't going to show, this little tail side. You want to make sure that this looks nice. This part is going to be layered and lovely, not really going to show. But if you want to shape it just a little bit more, if it gets really shaggy, you just bring that in at the end. So I'll move to my dry ones. And actually, before we go to that, I'm going to just make my centers real quick too. You can do this with some yellow nonpareils as well. I find these really bright and obnoxious. So what I do to make them a little more realistic looking is I just take a little Ziploc bag. And this one's a real little Ziploc bag. Just some of my little yellow nonpareils. And then a drop of gold. It makes it a lot warmer. Just a little drop of that. And you do want to let these sprinkles dry. Once I get that little dot of food coloring in there, and I just shake it around. And the fun thing
Go ahead.
Oh, the fun thing is you just get a variation of color too, which is fun when you kind of color them yourself.
Donna wants to know, what times and temps do you put them in the dehydrator?
I like to put it at the lowest temperature on my dehydrator, which is 95 Fahrenheit. And yeah, just probably like 20 minutes, and they're more than dry enough to work with. So you see how it just makes it nice and earthy, that yellow. It's a lot nicer for using it for more natural little centers of our poinsettias. Okay, was I on camera for any of that? I don't know.
Yeah, actually you were.
Okay. So for then the other option, which is really blingy and fun, are the little glitter sprinkles. And that's just simply a little, I like to use little dots of royal icing. And keep in mind, as you put those sprinkles on, they're definitely going to get bigger than what you pipe on, just the nature. And I dump the whole thing on. And voila, my little centers are so cute. And we just set those off to the side to dry. We'll get our petals. The other thing I made while I was letting those other petals dry was a little kind of homemade looking paper, real rustic. I just cut up little bits of wafer paper that I colored. And I just like how that looks. It's like the edge is like deckled and it just looks so rustic and cool. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm loving it. So I have a bunch more experiments. Yep. So these are all my little swipes of SmArt Sheet, my little leaves and my petals. So then I just start building. Really, it's a good idea to kind of put similar sizes together. That way you can stack them and layer them. I did find it dried lighter than when it was wet, and that's pretty typical too of just about anything edible. So I like these larger sizes. And for my base, I will just take, again, I love using my scraps. A bag of wafer scraps here. So I'll just grab.
Okay, so Crystal wants to know if you're going to be seeing SmArt Sheets on a future McGoo homework assignment.
Heck yeah, always. Yeah, we've used them a couple of ways, but usually we just use them as a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know also, if people have edible printers and things like that. So it is fun to use it in different ways. I really love to paint on SmArt Sheets.
Yeah,
because there's a lot less there's a lot less pressure that way. If you don't love it, you're like, I'll get another piece of SmArt Sheet and paint on that, instead of right on the royal. So I was taking my petal. So yeah, I just have a little scrap of wafer that I'm building it on. So it has a nice foundation that it will all stick to. A little dot of thick royal icing. And placing my little petal. And working my way around. Another good size. And I like that there's different coloration of my petals. You can, make sure it's all very similar, each one next to each other if you'd like. But yeah, again, if you look at the variation of poinsettias, it's quite crazy, the variety. Which one? It's very, so you're looking for a balance, not necessarily symmetry, but a nice balance, right? So my outer, my largest ring there, I'm going to move up just a bit here. Go. And next I'll do another layer. So this time I'll go a little bit smaller. And I think I might go actually this small here for the middle. And just depending on what size each of your individual petals are, you can scale up or down depending on, what your goal is. If you're working on a cake or a cupcake or a cookie. Little dots.
So for those of you who are on the Icing Images mailing list, we sent an email out today for $100 off of the wide format printer. That's only good through Friday. We're running a couple specials, but yeah. So if you're thinking about getting one, now's the time. You open up your email and voila, save $100.
And you've been real good this year. You deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
You deserve a brand new printer. So I have my little leaf one, and you could tuck those in underneath. Oh, and I have to find a good spot. That's a good spot over here. And just, you find your balance that you like. And then you'll take your little center. Oh, look at that. So it looks really, really pretty in white as well. And I always like to have cookies to try things on to see, you know, how would I style it? And there's a lot, it would look great on a dark background as well. That's kind of a serene kind of look, you know, the white on white.
Oh yeah, that's pretty.
We did a red one that's really fun too. But it really is just a paint palette or a palette knife, kind of a mix of, looks like, what's it called? The handmade paper kind of look to
Yeah,
it.
and those paintings, those spatula type paintings are very big and growing. They have been for a little bit. Where
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, there's again, there's different sizes and shapes depending on what floral you want to create with them. We're using this kind of diamond head shape. Where did my knife go? I lost, oh, there he is. So this is this diamond one. There's more rounded ones, there's squared off ones. These work really well for these shapes here. So there's that. I have, but wait, there's more. Wait, you want to keep going? Let's keep playing. So the other one I have here, I made it out of wafer, and I just want to show you side by side. Same scale, different look. It's a lot more. It's a diaphanous. It's lighter.
diaphanous. I've never heard that word. Oh, I like the darker one.
Yeah, so a little, just depending on what, you know what color that is. I had not, this is the first time I played with it. This is Timbo's, his shadow colors.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that was straight out of the bottle. That's what color the red velvet color is. Really fun, really different. And I believe there's a poinsettia called Merlot, which looks very much like that. And then just taking some white food coloring and spattering it is really fun look too. So those are the wafer, and so you just simply airbrush your wafer paper. That here. I just kind of very messily airbrushed my paper and just cut an inch strip off. And then I like to go just a little smaller, again, for my smaller petals. So about an inch, a generous inch, and then about 3/4 to a ½ inch there. And so I was thinking I would get like a punch, like a holly leaf punch, but it's so easy to just cut these into, so I'm just going to cut them roughly into the same size across these inch width strips here. And then to make my little poinsettia petal or leaf, so I have this nice diagonal here, just kind of stack my papers like that. I'm just going to cut off those corners off of each side. And that's just a really easy way to get a butt ton of petals. And then while they're still stacked, I just like to kind of fold them right in the middle just to give them a little bit of a shape. And then we have all these lovely little poinsettia pieces. And these do the same thing. Just going to cut them little 1/4 inch wide. And I don't need that many per flower, but if you're making a bunch, you know, you just cut a bunch, stack a bunch. It is, you know, you can just do them all the same direction because we cut the leaves the same way. If you wanted a little bit more of a ruffly kind of a petal there, you can do that too. And in that case, if they weren't totally symmetrical, I would stack them color, not color, just so I have a little variation on that. So if it wasn't symmetrical and you wanted something a little roughly right, you kind of come in, kind of feels like cutting a snowflake, you know, with the little shapes. So a bit of a scallop as I'm cutting, just for added kind of ruffle. And so when you separate them all, they're not all facing the same direction. So see how these are mirroring each other? And that's just nice to add a little bit of interest. So they're not all the static, same exact shape. Cutting off my corners again to create my smaller petals. Doop, doop. Oh, and I forgot to fold them. So just a nice little fold in the middle again. Give them just a little curve. And again, so on this one, instead of using royal, I still will use my little scrap as my base. This keeps it real nice and sturdy if I'm building on one solid piece. I'm gonna round it just a little bit. So there's my base, really high tech, difficult. Going to take my water brush pen. You could just take a paintbrush as well, but this has a reservoir of water in it. So it's going to have, just by squeezing it a little bit, you can add a little bit more water to your bristles. Or you can just have a cup and a paintbrush. So I'm brushing my little piece of center wafer paper with some water. And wafer paper loves to stick to wafer paper. So I'm just going to put the points of my larger petals down. Make sure I have enough moisture there. And there's my largest petals. What you want to consider is, as you're building this, you don't want to add water to the airbrush side because that's just going to make a red kind of mess. So when you add the water to these other petals, you're going to want to add it to the back side of it that's not colored. Just touching down there.
I love how easy all of this is.
Super simple. Who needs complicated in December? Little water. And it's fun to get all the tools and have all those options, but it's also nice to have a really low tech, version of things.
Yeah.
No electricity needed. No,
So Holly wants to know if the SmArt Sheet paste flowers break as easily as a royal icing transfer.
That's a good question. Let's find out. Let's grab the dry one, right? So, I'm pushing on it pretty good. I don't know that I would. It feels pretty similar. I don't know if I would ship it though, without it being a little bit more protected.
What happens if you drop it? Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, there it goes.
I lost a leaf there.
Normally you don't do it
Yeah.
like that. So you're just like really going to town now.
Okay, that's a good test. It still looks cute, even if those petals fell off.
Yeah, little tissue paper would be fine.
Yeah. So pretty similar to a transfer, maybe a little more hardy than a royal icing transfer, I would think, because there's a little bit of give to it still that isn't there with a royal icing transfer. There's my big guy. I didn't cut out any leaves, did I? So with my green, same story, right? Cutting out just a strip and then cutting some squares.
He's like, OMG, I didn't want you to break it.
It's a great experiment. That's, you're gonna find out.
Speaking of royal icing transfers,
Mm.
have you tried fluffing stuff yet?
I haven't. I have a little sample of it. I'm so curious.
Yeah, not curious enough yet, huh?
Well, time,
I
time.
know. You're gonna love it. It takes less material to create the same amount as other batches, which is nice, and it tastes
That,
so good, like really good.
that's so, I love hearing that because Susan is so cool, so clever. So that's so
Yeah,
fun to hear. When you put your leaves again, keep in mind you don't want to put the water on the green side. So I'm going to go to the back of my flower to get a little bit damp to stick my leaves on. I just need to touch there to the wet to stick. And, more than 5 looks really good too. You can keep on layering and adding little petals and leaves, just depending on, again, what size you're looking for, what it's going to go on. So that is the wafer paper one. And of course, our little center there, it sets the whole thing off. Flecking with white. I think we should do that on this one for sure, on the red. It's so pretty. We'll get our white food coloring. And there he is. Here. A little white food coloring. This is airbrush white. And a
brushing your
toothbrush.
teeth.
It's multi-purpose, No, this toothbrush is solely for cookie decorating, reserved for that. A toothbrush will give you a really fine fleck. If you use a paintbrush, it'll be a little bit larger flecks of white. So just adding that little flecks of white, I love. It's just magical. It's so cute. Might be hard to see, but because they're extra tiny flecks with the toothbrush.
That's really cool. I've never seen anybody show us that. Jessie Ann said when using paper potion with a smart sheet and wafer,
Mhm.
they do not shatter.
Ooh, yeah. I was wondering about that too. That was a further experiment I was gonna look into. I love paper potion. Yeah, that would be interesting. And I think it would still hold, that have that body as you use the
Yeah,
palette knife. That'd be really cool. One more option, actually, if you're not tired of me yet.
never.
I have SmArT Sheet, not paste. So these are just little petals. Again, cutting them out the same way. I'll grab a piece of parchment this round here, just to protect my space. Ooh, destroying a place. Okay, little parchment. And these are, yeah, just petals of SmArT Sheet. And I like that there's variation to the sizes. I am not a perfectionist, if you could tell.
Oh, she says add potion to the water. So it's not 100% mixed
Mhm.
with smart sheets. You just add some in.
Yeah, I would think so too. Yeah. Let's see. Do I have a paintbrush? I do. Okay. And a little bit of our red. And I'm just going to squirt a little bit of water to work with on the side. So just a little, I have some gold in there already. Okay. Taking some of my red. And I like the rough side on this one. I just like how it takes the color. Sometimes I'll use the smooth side and sometimes I'll use the rough side. This one, I'm going rough. So I'm just gonna first start by kind of just going along that outside edge. I want it to be a little brighter. And then just with a little bit of water, blending it towards the center. And again, you can just go as bold as you want. I'm gonna go down the center and do little leaf shapes, just really simple. Basically making a red leaf. And painting our fingernails a little bit because we like to stain our hands and our fingernails. We like to be colorful.
I love that color.
Yeah, this one is Super Red from Americolor. This would look really sweet in pink or peach as well. I love these non-traditional poinsettias that I've been seeing. And the names of them are really fun. You know, when you look at like fingernail polish colors and it inspires you to get the color because the name is so fun. Get some water on there.
I really love that color.
It's fun to add those little veins in it too. This would look nice with the white splatter on it too because it's so bold. Does it look red on the camera?
It looks like an orangey red. It's really
Orangey, doesn't it?
pretty, at
Yeah,
least on my computer. So
yeah, yeah. It does to me too.
yeah, so on the program that we have in the back end that everybody can't see, it looks redder, but on Facebook, it looks oranger. And let me see on Instagram. I actually finally got Instagram working.
Oh yeah. What
It
color does
actually
it look
looks
like to
almost like a hue
you?
of, it almost has a pinkish hue
Hmm.
on Instagram on my phone. So 3 different colors, 3 different ways, same thing.
All right, so we got our the large ones. We do the same thing with the smaller guys. Pretty similar. These, it matters a little bit more to get the whole thing. Even that will be covered though with the center really. And I'm not even moving to a smaller paintbrush. I'm not being that particular about it. Get a couple more. Let's see. I gotta feel it. Is that the, yep, that's the rough side. Have you watched any Christmas movies yet? Have you
No,
started?
I've barely been able to
No.
watch TV.
You gotta have one in the background at least, right?
I don't do cookies. I'd love to.
You have to actually focus on what you're doing. Darn it.
I actually have to put on classical music if I really want to,
That's
because
nice.
otherwise the words distract me, even
Yeah.
if I'm trying not to listen.
Like even if it was an instrumental of another song, if it had words, you'd probably still be singing along, huh?
Yeah, I can't do words.
Yeah.
A lot depends on what I'm doing, but so
Okay.
Becky Norton said she used toothbrushes for splatters on gold onto cookies for a large group of kids last week, and they all cracked up. Becky, you've been a busy lady. It's like after the cruise, we all hit the ground running, and it's like trying to catch our breath.
Yeah. Yeah, you paid for taking the time off, huh?
Yeah, but it was worth it. I hadn't
Right.
been that relaxed in
Mm.
25 years, probably
Oh my
easily
gosh.
25. Probably my honeymoon, which is even longer.
Yeah, it was just looking back on pictures from it, I just think it's like the whole place has a filter on it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
Ugh, everywhere you turn. I need a picture of that. I need a picture of that cat. I need a picture of this.
You've been taking pictures forever with the cats and the dogs.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna put some icing down there to put my smaller guys in.
Becky says we need to take another trip. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Have you've seen Christmas with the Cranks?
You know, I have not.
That one is where he decides to skip Christmas, and they're just not going to do any Christmas, and they're going to go on a cruise for Christmas. Get away from all the, everything. And so John decided, okay, I'm gonna ask the kids if they'd be willing to skip Christmas and go on a cruise. Do you want to guess what their answer was? Heck no.
That's so
Oh, I
funny.
didn't do a leaf on this one.
Well, Christmas has that feeling. It's not just about, what it is. There's that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Susie said, I'm sure their moms, this is referring to Becky's comment about the kids, and she says, I'm sure their moms loved you for teaching them that.
Yeah, they're gonna find those toothbrushes in weird places with weird stuff on them. They're like, hey, this gives me ideas.
Especially when they start trying other colors, and then they brush their teeth with them.
Yeah.
Then they go to the dentist the next day. Explain that one.
Tuck your little leaf underneath on that one, and of course your little finishing center.
Beautiful.
I did do a little experiment because I felt like, oh, I needed one more petal on that one. I did one wafer in there, and I just loved how it looked. Like if I tucked in a little mixture of those, of the wafer and the SmArt Sheet, I think that would be really nice. And the different tones and things, and just the way it catches the light differently. That was really
mixed media.
Yet another experiment. Yeah, mixed papers. So that's the dry, the SmArt, the palette knife, and our wafer poinsettias.
Wow. So you can do like McGoo U homework and have them use any type of paper to make it, because a lot of people have some type of edible paper.
Yeah, which is really nice. Yeah, you're like, oh, I don't have that kind of paper. And you're like, oh, I do have that one. That's nice. Yeah.
And it was made out of scraps. That's the best part, is that this item did not cost you pretty much anything because they're leftovers.
Yeah, it was gonna be put in the trash, and heck no, let's use it, because that SmArt Sheet is so great. It is super smart. Using the scraps to make lace and stuff. Always keep a hold of your scraps.
Yeah. Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Love it. Love it.
Awesome.
Oh,
we're upside down.
Let's see. Oh, there's me. There I am.
Upside down. Now I have to stand on my head.
Am I upside down? Oh, I'll fix it. Is that the right way? There we go.
Hey, Becky, get your order placed, because I have something to send you anyway. So, hi.
Hello again. It's getting dark outside here now. It's starting to. What?
Barbie said she likes using she likes the dimension you get with using the different kinds of paper. Yeah, I bet you get into that, Barb. Yeah, for sure. So hi again.
Things just call for thin and delicate, like butterflies and leaves, and I mean these flowers. The flowers just lend themselves so
exactly. Awesome.
Into a hair clip, actually.
Oh yeah, that's like really pretty.
A little fast.
Yep. You take it off and eat it, and right in front of somebody. Oh my gosh. Oh, you could take those, for those of you who have a blue printer, you could take those and then print on them, and with the dimension, it could be beautiful. The way that the ink will hit different levels of that flower because of the texture. Be kind of cool.
So print little veining on the little.
Yeah. Be really cool. Really cool. So awesome sauce. You're thinking, huh?
Yeah, always, right?
Yeah, I love creative minds because you can see those wheels
Yeah.
spin up there on your face. So, hi, Tina. Awesome. Yeah, and Sylvia said, I've made cake lace with leftover sheets, versatile medium. Yeah, SmArt Sheets are awesome. And to think they sat on my counter for over a year is crazy. And I didn't know what to do with them until Nancy Westfall called me and said, I need a paper for making paint your own palettes. I'm like,
Oh,
hmm.
oh, funny. So that's really where it started, huh?
Yeah, well, I had them. I got them at a show in Vegas. Somebody wanted me to carry them, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. So I did all my little testing that I do, but then I didn't know what to do. So it sat literally on my countertop in my office until Nancy gave me that call, and I'm like, let's try it, and then it worked,
Uh,
and that too is history. So they're very smart sheets. Hey,
they're so
Tahisha.
smart. And then when smart people get a hold of them, boy.
Yeah, there's smartness all around. So tell me, you have something going on with
Yeah.
lots of prizes, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This giveaway is nutty. So it starts on Thursday. It's 12 days of Christmas. And it is a true cumulative growing prize every day. So just like on the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me, different sponsors will give to you day 3 prize. If you win that day, you would also win day 3, day 2, day 1. So each day the prizes grow. It's fantastic, and the sponsors are so amazing and so generous. And by day 12, you're swimming in a pile of gifts that are just every baker's dream, and I'm so excited. It's so fun to pick the winner every night. But some people think, oh, I'll just wait till the last couple days to enter. But don't do that. You want to enter every day, because if you win day 1, yay, you get a great prize. You can keep entering, and if you win day 11, say, we'll just redraw that smaller prize from the pool of names that had entered that.
Ooh, that's cool.
So, you want to get as many chances as you have. Um, so and we've had people drawn twice. It's crazy. Who are these
Yeah.
lucky people? They'll win 2 different days, and we'll just uh, send the larger size prize to them and
You
redraw.
find out about this.
This is artymcgoo.com, and it starts Thursday. The 12 days starts on the 12th, so it's real easy to remember. And you'll just go to artymcgoo.com every day to enter to win. You'll see the amazing sponsors. One of them is Icing Images. You'll see. Who knows
Hmm.
what day they land on?
I know.
Mm,
Never know. So do you have listed anywhere some of the sponsors or not yet?
yeah, so all the sponsors are up at artymcgoo.com. Love every one of these businesses, all of the people behind the businesses. They're great products, and some things it will have the specific prize on there, whether it is something very specific from them or a gift certificate. It will post that every day, and there will be a couple tasks you can do for extra entries. It's so fun playing Santa, man.
Well, here is the link directly to the 12 Days of Christmas. And
And
like
it
I
is
just went there because I'm like,
open to everybody. It is open to US and Canada, but the shipping won't be included, the whole international thing. If you have a way to figure out how to get it to yourself, you can enter and just have it shipped
mhm.
in the US. I know a lot of people do things like that. So you're more than welcome to enter. Just know if it's international, we're not going to be shipping it to an international address.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the sponsors. They're
Yeah.
pretty good sponsors, guys. So
Yeah.
definitely do it.
Some boxes
100%.
right over here, full of very exciting items that I'm excited for someone to win.
Awesome. Yeah. Now I have to get back to this page because I started looking at them.
Yeah. You don't
Like,
even have
ooh.
to be good to win. I mean, if you were naughty this year, you could still enter.
Yeah. I think that's the only way you can enter is if you're naughty. Just a little bit. Awesome. Awesome. Well,
Uh,
great. So definitely, if you're not a member of McGoo U, it is a great value. So uh, hoping, join, and just feel free to put my name in as the referral. That is Becky Norton, so she can get her patches. So yeah.
it's a great group of people, super fun.
Oh
And
yeah.
if you are a McGoober, you automatically get entered. You have more entries in the 12 days.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm gonna join. Oh, I can't. I'm a sponsor. Darn it.
Can't win, but you could be part of the community. There, yeah, that's
Yeah.
our patches we do. That's a great group of people.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, when I win stuff like that, like or get a goodie bag, like at a show or something, if you're sitting next to me or at my table, man, it's like, here you go. I don't decorate cookies and everyone's grabbing stuff and fighting over it. Oh, it's awesome. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you, my dear. You've been amazing as always. I love having you on.